This is Patriot Sports Radio.
Patriot Sports Radio.
Fed up with the national talking heads and biases of mainstream sports media. If it's sports from the high school level to the pros, we're talking about it like the red-blooded Americans we are.
God bless America.
God bless America.
God bless America.
Let's do this. Here's Eric, John, Chris, and the coach.
Welcome back, my friends. Patriot Sports Week 8 recap show. We got plenty to get to. The Great Chicago Fire Sale is lit and roaring. CMC showed the LA crowd a hat trick. Return of the backs. The extraterrestrial ETN goes for 156 and a touchdown. Alvin Kamara puts up 3, and Deonta almost had 4, man. See what I did there? Was Paul Bunyan real? I don't know, but Derrick Henry is, and that's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Mac Jones, you're not that guy, pal. Jets lose anyway because Jets. Elijah Moore must have banged the coach's wife because he's seen fewer targets than a soccer mom on house arrest. Rams reduced to tongue twister status, starting Ronnie Rivers at running back? Really? Ruh-roh. All that plus passing 101 with Derek Carr. How to throw for 101 yards in a professional football game. But first, Russ went out to London and beat Jacksonville 21-17. The under 40 sneaks in the barn. This game was exclusively on ESPN Plus, so I did not see any of it aside from some highlights. Looks like it was a 17-14. Then Denver scored on a Latavius Murray touchdown to go up 21-17 with a couple minutes left, and then Lawrence immediately threw a pick. Story of the game, obviously, Travis Etienne. Russ had a respectable 8.4 yards per attempt, so maybe that shoulder is healing after all. Latavius, 14 carries to Gordon's 9. Greg Dulcich, third straight games with 11 plus fantasy points. John, are the ladies in Denver going crazy for Greg D?
No, not yet. Not yet. Give it time.
He's got those locks.
It's hockey season.
Hey, you know that's Jason the Commish Cooper talking shit. How about that beat down in fantasy you both got this week? That was bad on the trenches.
You had to do that immediately. You had to do that right away.
Like right after the gate coming.
The last I checked, we were down by 100
waiting all
points.
day.
We were down by
still
one.
bleeding, salt in that wound.
We're down triple digits.
Go Lions.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm seeing that as well. You just fired your defensive back, coach, and you should have.
so
The Lions.
Everybody here wants the Lions to be good.
right.
Is that being fun or what?
Right.
Oh, the
Okay,
Miami
man.
Dolphins.
Okay. Well, Dolphins at Lions. Dolphins 31-27. Wild game. First 6 possessions. Touchdown, interception, touchdown. Rodrigo got a sack. I think that was his first one of the season. Lions, 2 first quarter touchdowns. Jamal Williams, 2 scores. He's now got 8 on the season. He's tied with Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb doesn't score any tonight, he'll still be tied for the league lead. Tyreek's 4th game this year with over 160 receiving yards. He and Waddle combined for 20 catches.
Both on my fantasy.
No big deal. Angela, stop me if you've heard this one before, but the Lions fought hard and just came up a little short this time.
Oh my God. When Campbell gave his presser, like the whole internet lit up. You know, he was like, he got ripped to shreds. Like nobody wants to hear it anymore. And it's the same on the field, but it's the same off the field, in the locker room, the press conferences, all of it. Like people are getting pissed, and I'm worried for his job. I think I don't know what the alternative is, but it doesn't look good at all.
I was wondering this as well, because all of that rah, bite your kneecaps and everything sounds great until you get to 1-5, 1-6, 1-7. It's got to pay off at some point, or else it's just an annoying guy screaming.
Right. And all the empathy in the world. Like he's super empathetic, and he's, you know, the player's coach, and he's or that's how he comes off. And maybe that's the problem. I mean, maybe he's being too empathetic. Maybe he needs to be a little bit more Belichick in there. I'm not sure, but it's not working. I thought we'd get more out of him this year, the team, you know, based on all of what we heard.
And what we saw. We watched training camp. It looked like a team that was coming together and really
bunch of dogs.
Right.
Man, they really sold us a bill of goods with that, didn't they? And now they're fully into same old Lions territory now. This is just another bad Lions team.
Totally.
Jared Goff came out hot. He was a top 3 quarterback the first couple weeks. I don't know what happened. When you're a rah-rah guy, the message gets stale quickly. You got to have some things to back that up.
You got to win.
Yeah.
You just got to win. You got to win, boys and girls.
That's the thing you need. You need to win football games. Yeah.
And it won't be just him either. I think, he might have some of his coordinators on the way out the door with him too, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, they don't really they don't fire people very often. They're very cheap in Detroit, but they will do it if you're one and whatever.
If you make them, they'll do it.
I think Angela's other half says that's because it's the same old Lions.
Yep.
Do you agree with your husband there, Angela?
Oh yeah, I can't tell you the heartache that's come out of our living room year after year after year after year after year, and it's like it's kind of like I would say, if my team ever wins a Super Bowl, I won't know what to do with myself. I think that if or when the Lions would even make the playoffs, people would flop over and die. As of late.
Yeah. And the playoffs have been expanded. There's 17 games. They're making it easier and easier to get in, and Lions just can't clear that bar, that very low bar that sometimes teams that are sub 500 get over.
I'm always so freaked out at how many points they can score and how far they can be ahead, and then the whole thing just falls apart, and that is unfathomable to me because their lead that they can have is so big.
It's 14-0, just like that.
That's why it feels shitty. Like that's why. Yeah. Because they're always ahead, and then it falls apart. The wheels fall off.
And Miami had a zillion penalties too. They were trying to beat themselves. The Lions just wouldn't allow them to do it.
Wait, hold my beer.
Oh my goodness. More guys before the game, and one of the commentators during the game were talking about how fast Tyreek is, that you see it on film, but you don't really understand it until you get there and you stand next to him or you try to run with him. How much longer can that go on though? How long can a fast guy, how old is he, Chris? He went to OSU, didn't he? That was a while ago. Like he's got to be almost done being fast. Hey, coach, and he's back.
Hello.
He's back from distributing candy to the neighborhood.
He's back from
yard store.
Tiptoeing through the graveyards.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Stay off the goddamn grass. I'm trying to win yard of the month.
Right.
I had to shut my light off. I handed out all the
shut the light off.
I handed out all the bologna I could hand. We've got a packet drawer in here I went through pretty hard and heavy. Hey, you want some soy? You want some ketchup? What do you want?
I like
Bell
that
sauce.
That Chinese mustard is excellent. You put that Chinese mustard on a brat, that's living right.
Listen, man, you hit that hot mustard, man. You get too much of that, it'll ruin you.
Yeah, you got everything in moderation. We were just about to talk about the Eagles winning all kinds of football games. This game was over in 5 minutes, 35-13 over the Steelers. Easily over the 43, easily covered the 10.5. Derek Watt scored a touchdown. That's the cool thing that happened for Pittsburgh. But I mean, AJ Brown, 3 first half touchdowns. This thing was out of hand immediately. They were getting some hurries and a couple sacks, but it didn't matter because on third down, Jalen Hurts would just throw a 50-yard bomb. Coach, I'm seeing some blame being thrown around in the postgame by players talking about how some guys probably aren't putting in the time and studying like they should. What is Coach Tomlin looking at as far as the situation in the locker room now? And how does he keep everybody cool?
Oh,
he's muted. Unmute yourself, Coach.
I was just saying, he's got more problems than people not reading the playbook. So he's, Pickett's in his first year. He looks like he's in his first year. I think he's going to be a good guy. I really do. I think Pickett was a good find for him. I like the kid a lot, but the Steelers look like a team that has a first year quarterback. I mean, they have some some gaping holes a lot of places. So yeah, anybody that's throwing shade about people not putting in the time, they're going to need about two or three seasons before they're ready to make a run, and at least not this season. I don't think.
Yeah, seems a little bit early also for Kenny Pickett to suddenly throw people under the bus.
Oh, I think honestly, I think it was entirely too early for him in general. I don't think that was the plan to begin with. I think they were really hoping that Mitch was going to kind of give him the 500 split before they would get into the stretch run of the season. And maybe, I don't know at the beginning of the season, if you were to poll the Steelers camp, if they would have told you that, week 4 or week 3 or whatever it was, that they were pulling the trigger on Pickett. That was their plan.
Yeah, couldn't have been, because he looks as raw as they knew he was. They watched him, work out and practice in that Pittsburgh facility all through his college days. They knew exactly what they were getting.
Oh, they knew what they were getting. And,
so they didn't look at that kid and say he's going to play week 4.
Well, and I think long-term he's going to be okay. I really do. I think that they might have a gamer for a long time. And I like his attitude. I mean, I like the things that he brings to the table. I liked him in the draft. I mean, I liked the pick by Pittsburgh. You're right. There wasn't any secrets there. They knew exactly what they were getting. But, we'll see how that pans out. I just think that whole team is built for mediocrity to begin with. And, it baffles me that these teams have these brain trust of millions of dollars, and they go into a season much like, the green and gold that, hey, I think it's a good plan. We'll just start without a wide receiver on the roster, and I think we'll be fine because the quarterback's that good. Same way with Pittsburgh. I mean, they started out the season essentially without a quarterback on the roster, hoping to make Trubisky something great again. In
the meantime, TJ Watt can keep us in games and possibly win us games.
There's no doubt in my mind that was the game plan going into the season. We're going to play Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and we're going to run the football, and it's going to keep us in half the games, especially in the division that we play in. And later on down the stretch, when the weather starts getting cold, we're going to be in a lot of games. And I just don't think that is a good. I don't think that was a good philosophy coming into the season.
He needs to break out that fake slide. Wasn't that Pickett that hit the fake slide that they had to make the rule against?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He needs to bring that to the NFL.
I really liked him at Pittsburgh, man. He did a lot of cool things there. I liked him.
Hey, Chris over at Armchair Athletics, go check them guys out on YouTube. They're all over the place. That's where they're the guys that have the Trenches, the reality show we play fantasy football on. Check those guys out. He says even Pittsburgh is allowed to rebuild.
Yeah, no, and they've got an all-timer in Watt. Good gravy, that guy. You want to talk about a kid that could take over a game, which I mean, refresh my memory again. Please tell me was that the Love draft?
Probably.
I don't want to pick a scab, but we could have had him.
Heather's here. Heather sent me a screenshot, dude. She won her fantasy matchup she won like we lost this week by a lot, by a whole lot.
So she really did murder that matchup.
Nice. Yep. Right. It was triple digits to double digits. That's what I saw.
I actually took a dub in both leagues this year for the first time all season. I've been taking it. I've been getting killed, and this week I finally put it together. My little digital guys are coming around. They've been running routes. They've been doing what they're supposed to do.
They're watching.
That's why they lift all them digital weights.
That's right. They're hitting the digital weights. We're gonna get to some fantasy off season. Not just yet though. They said not yet. I think I'm gonna
about
string
80
together. I mean, and I told them, I'm like, you win one, we win one next week. It's called a streak. It has happened before.
Yep. Anything
not on
happened.
your team, it hasn't. Not on your team.
It did. I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it.
Anything that has happened.
Started from the bottom, and now we're here.
Hey, Heather. Shouts in the house right now. 150. God, that is.
Didn't have that on my bingo card.
Shit. You are murdering shit. You guys go check out Heather. She's got everything yesterday, today over on Spotify, Apple, where you get all your podcasts at. She does a beautiful 15-minute rundown of yesterday's news and what you need to know going for today.
Very succinct. Perfect.
It's legit.
It's like a little Lunchable of information. It's really all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about Lunchables. Okay, Panthers at Falcons. Falcons 37-34. If you had the over 70, you won that bet. Pitts touchdown because, of course, once you bench him, he scores touchdowns. 4 lead changes in the fourth quarter. DJ Moore scores a touchdown. Yeah.
That was a great
DJ Moore
game.
scored to tie it up at the end, but then he takes his helmet off, celebrating the touchdown, pushes the extra point back. Santos, who, I mean, if he spent as much time practicing kicks as he spent on his eyebrows, he probably would have made that kick. He misses the extra point. Then they get back. They get down there to where extra point range would normally be, and he misses that too. So they end up losing. Anyway, had they won, the entire South would be tied at 3-5. But since Carolina lost, they're now in last place and Atlanta's in first. And that is the
South is
NFC
gross.
South.
The South is terrible. I'll tell you, the guy that I felt the worst for in that whole deal was what is it? PJ Mills or whatever his name is.
PJ Walker.
The quarterback.
I had to Google that guy.
Yeah, the quarterback. Hey, he had a game. That dude had a game on Sunday.
Yeah,
he was lighting it up, and they just didn't. They couldn't pull it out for him.
Yeah,
DJ Moore.
DJ,
that's who it was.
DJ needs to do a little less with the celebrations there, but it was great to see him finally have a big game. He's one of those guys like Allen Robinson, just always has a shit quarterback, but all the metrics are there, and the fantasy bros are telling you, they swear to God he's good at football, and every once in a while they're right, and they get this game from somebody, and I'm sure they're celebrating in the streets. The Jets are not. Patriots 22-17, under 39.5, just barely.
They're still the damn Jets. They are who we thought they were.
Yeah. Yeah, the MILF Hunter had quite a few bad throws.
They dropped the ball.
Oh my gosh, they were so ugly. It was just I mean, even as somebody who's not a quarterback's coach or an offensive genius, you look at it and you're just like, I want to punch you in the face if I'm on your team. Just the flip. I'm just going to throw it out of bounds, except it's 5 yards inbounds right to the defender. Just what are you doing, dude?
That's infuriating stuff. Yeah. The Patriots really won the game because the Jets led at half, but the Patriots kicked a field goal before the half, and then they got the ball after half and scored a touchdown. And that is just what the Patriots do. That's how Belichick kills you. He doubles up. Coach, on the youth level, do you try to do that? Do you try to score before halftime so you can get the ball back after and score again?
No. No.
Hell no.
No. Let me tell you what we're trying to do. We're trying to freaking run the ball in the right gap and get lined up in the right spot. That's what we're trying to do. Yeah, let's get lined up in the right spot before we worry about scoring before half.
Let's all get off the line at the same time, boys.
Everybody get the snap count, and we'll start from there.
Ramondre Stevenson was the Patriots' leading rusher and receiver. He's taken over everything. He's a top 5 fantasy running back since week 3. And I benched him this week for Gabe Davis because I am a moron. I was projected to lose, and I thought, well, Ramondre can score 20, but Gabe Davis can score 30. But Gabe Davis scored like 5. So that was disappointing. Just another Jets. I mean, this was the game they were supposed to be able to slay the dragon. The Patriots are coming in. They're not those Patriots. We're the Jets. We're up and coming Jets. No. You know, we got this Sauce Gardner kid. We got the quarterback. The most exciting part of that game for me was I put under 28.5 passing attempts for Zach Wilson in the props article, and he had 28. I thought we were cooked because he had 26 like mid fourth quarter, but I don't know what happened. He must have thrown another pick or something. Now that I think about it, the Jets had a pick 6 that was called back on a roughing the passer call, which if you add 6 to 17, you get 23. They wouldn't have even needed that extra point. And it was a legit roughing too. It wasn't one of those.
I saw that.
because it's Tom Brady.
It was
Max
dumb.
Jones threw the ball and some dipshit just walked up and shoved him to the ground.
And launched at him. Helmet to helmet. Dude, come on.
They're the Jets. They do Jets things.
Sabotage.
Comedy of errors.
Saboteur.
They do Jets things. They're still the Jets.
Yep.
You got to love it when a defensive end just says, I'm going to find a way to mess this up. And just late hit.
And the beautiful thing about it is that's the gift that keeps on giving, because in film today, you don't think that's going to be rewound about 14 times. And tell me what makes this legit. Tell me what makes this.
Yep. What are we thinking here?
I can remember in high school, we broke one about 85, and I leveled a kid about 27 yards behind the play. And I really thought that was a great idea. And they flagged the crap out of me. We ended up losing the game by about, I don't know, a field goal. And don't think that the very next day we didn't get a little, and tell me what you were thinking here. What made this right? What made
a fucking Al Bundy soundbite right now?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well,
I piss and moan about it all the time. It's like, self-control, get a little, bro. Like,
yeah.
If we're telling high school stories, I got one on film study too.
Let's have it.
We had the Steve Blammo Award every Saturday because that was the knucklehead play of the day. And one, my friend Dan, I think it was a bad pass interference or something like that. He was doing something dumb. The coach got so mad he just smashed the VCR and walked like 30 paces, came back, hit play. Only when he smashed the VCR, he hit rewind like 10 seconds. And so he replayed the same play again. He's like, God damn it, you did it again. And we're like, Coach, it's the same play.
Oh my God.
Oh
gosh, nothing like a good film study.
Yeah. Here's something they'll
in your mistakes.
Here's something your boys in Chicago will be watching. Yeah, here's a big sandwich we got to eat. The Bears-Cowboys game. Cowboys 49-29. There was a defensive touchdown Micah Parsons scored where he, I think, recovered a fumble, and Justin Fields ran past him, did not touch him down, and he then got up and ran it in the end zone. I assume they're going to be watching that. Those orange helmets are the first thing they should address when they watch film. We got to cut those. We got to get those off the team. Dallas was up 14-0 after the first quarter. Chicago did make a game of it at times. Both teams ran for over 200. I think the pendulum is swinging back towards the run game in the NFL. 26 times this year, a team has run for a combined 200 yards.
Called it.
No
Pollard
Elliott.
came in.
No Elliott.
Completely dominated. 131 for Pollard. Zeke was acting happy, but do you think he was happy, Coach? He was clapping. He had that smile on his face.
Like, right. He's getting paid. Why would he not be happy?
That's true.
That's all he wanted.
I'd be JoJo the circus idiot over there if I was getting paid as much as him.
Slamming the cymbals together. Oh, the Bears' run blocking looked better than the helmets did. John, yes, the Bears lost, but it looks like they're figuring out how to drive this car called Justin Fields. Then again, they just traded the defense. So, what's your opinion on the goings-on?
They just traded the leading tackler in the NFL after giving up a GD 50 burger to the Dallas Cowboys. So I've spent my last emotion on the Bears this season because I don't give a shit anymore. Because obviously they're just in full rip it down to the studs rebuild. And I mean, I get it. The guy probably wants 100 mils, so they ship him to the Ravens, where he's quickly going to find out that Lamar Jackson's going to suck that well dry. So that's a rental. Well, they're going to drop 350 mil on two players because Lamar Jackson wants 250. Can you just imagine their HR department meeting with these two guys who don't have agents?
Oh my God!
I want all this.
They got both the no agent guys. Why would they do that to themselves?
It's painful because at this time today, it was like the nail in the coffin. I shouldn't even bother watching any more games because if we just gave up 49 to the Cowboys and we traded away arguably the best middle linebacker in the league, what's it going to look like for the rest of the way? Because we've got not an easy schedule coming up. So I don't know. We lost. Even watching the offense, it's like he doesn't We don't have any wide receivers. We have a quarterback who can make plays, throwing it to guys that are just, they might be open, they might not. And the line isn't as bad as initially advertised, but it's not great. So I don't know. I'll be watching a lot of football that probably isn't the Bears, because at this point, what's the difference? It's not going to be the same team. We got 74 draft picks and $100 million in cap space. We're going to be like a new franchise this time next year, except for our quarterback and a couple running backs.
You got sort of the same thing the Dolphins had going on before they went and purchased Tua and Tyreek and stuff. Maybe that's what you'll get.
But we don't have a shady owner like they do.
Yeah, that's
true. We've got an old lady and a guy we just fired because he wasn't any good. So at least if we had some shady owners who could do some backdoor deals, you might have some hope. But I don't know. All the hope right now is with Ryan Poles, because he's got a ton of equity into the next season, and you just hope he makes the right choices.
Yeah, well, you ain't trying.
And hats off to all these teams that are trying this newfangled idea called free agency. It's a beautiful concept. I wish some of the other teams in the league would
Philadelphia
subscribe
doing it
to
too.
it.
I'll tell you what, it's not paying off for the Raiders right now with Devontae Adams.
No, 24-0. Kamara had 2 touchdowns on 9 receptions. He had another one on the ground.
Hey, that was
not much else going on. The Raiders had the flu, so they didn't cross the 50 until late fourth quarter.
The Raiders may find himself fired out of that.
Yeah, I mean, they look. I mean, if you just watch the body language, they all look like Justin Fields trying to make a tackle.
McDaniels had another closed door meeting with the owner after this one.
They just look terrible. And to be honest, they were outside, not favorites, but they were considered to be part of this AFC golden era where maybe any of them could make a run to the Super Bowl. And they don't even look like they want to be there on Sunday. Derek Carr looks like a kid whose puppy just got kicked. And Devontae Adams
not look into it.
Just looks like, what am I getting myself into? Other than that.
Hey, Trey over at Fourth and Flex. Go check those guys out. They have a legit fantasy football YouTube. Talking about Zeke has never had 3 rushing TDs in one game. That's hard to fucking believe. That was a big draft pick.
Yeah, and he gets all the red zone. He gets all the goal line carries.
He's the guy
when he's healthy. Like Pollard was like, "Here's what look what I can do. Give me some carries. I'll get in the end zone multiple times, 131 yards, no big deal." Coach, do you think we're going to see the run game come back now that these linebackers are all 230 pounds?
Gosh, I sure hope so.
Be able to run with tight ends?
I sure hope so. I line up and run the ball. I love that. Run the damn ball.
You can't do anything about it.
The best offense you can have is a running offense. It's the best one. That is demoralizing and a backbreaker to people. If you can line up and run the ball, you're going to win a lot of games at any level.
You get them to 3rd and 6 and you're fired up and they bust a 7-yard run off the left side. And you're heartbroken. The stuff Derrick Henry was doing to the Texans yesterday, he should almost be arrested for.
It doesn't even have to be 3rd and 6. You can line up and get 4 yards of carry and kill a team. By the second quarter, they are literally looking like, what can we do to stop this? And there's nothing you can do.
No, there's nothing you can do to stop CMC either. And Chris from Armchair, I think, wants to talk a little Christian McCaffrey hat trick. Let's welcome him into the show. Where is Chris? There he is.
What's going on, bro? Far out, man. CMC on Patriot Sports Radio, man. This is far out, bro. Man, loving the football. It seems like the shape. Shape of the football is far out, man. And like when it spins, woo! Look, man, CMC. You guys are talking about having the advantage of being able to run, and San Francisco. I mean, they've got it in spades because they had it in Debo last year, and Debo says, "I don't want to run the ball anymore," and then now they get CMC, like arguably one of the best running backs in NFL history. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's Peyton and there's Jim Brown and stuff like that. Modern era. As long as that dude stays healthy, you see what he did yesterday. And it's just something special to watch. and you got guys like Henry, you got guys like JT, and it's sad to see JT not performing. I hope he turns it around, but CMC, I mean, just something special. Holy cow. And for San Francisco to pull that off, like, it's not fair.
It's like an Indiana Jones or a Tomb Raider movie where they combined all the ancient artifacts together, and it's all unlocking now and creating this ultimate football player who cannot be stopped.
Well, the guy on the roster that's got to be the happiest about that's got to be Debo, because he got exactly what he wanted. He got a bell cow for at tailback, and he can literally go, I want to run this week in the slot. I want to run this week on the edge. That guy. He's an athlete too, and Shanahan. That had to factor into making him happy.
You know what's crazy about San Francisco right now? I don't know if you got a chance. There's a montage, if you will, of the press conferences at San Francisco yesterday, and it's Garoppolo and it's CMC and all them guys, and all they do is give credit to everybody else, and they're having so much fun over there, especially now that CMC is there. And the reporter asked C-Mac, was that your ball to catch? Was that George's ball to catch? He's like, I think it was mine, but I know George was just pumped up that somebody caught it. And I mean, they're just, he gives full credit to Jeff Wilson, catching him up in the playbook and teaching him how things are going on and talking about BA, making a tremendous catch on that ball that he threw. They are having fun. They are gelling. Watch out, because San Francisco, it's not just the talent that's there. It's the fact that they are having fun. And when a team is out there having fun, they are dangerous no matter what team they are.
Yeah, all the ingredients are there. And I saw when he caught that touchdown that was possibly destined for Kittle, he then spiked the ball just like Kittle does, Kittle absolutely loved that, then started playing air guitar, and they started jumping around, and I said, son of a bitch. This team's
they showed Kittle on the sideline
game, aren't they?
Yeah, they showed Kittle on the sideline later on in the game. One of those last touchdowns, and Kittle's jumping up and down. He's going crazy.
No better hype man on the sideline than George Kittle.
Dude, it's just amazing. And just to see a team do it, because you don't see that in the NFL. That's always one of the things that always kind of amazes me, because in college, everybody's a family, everybody hangs out, it's college, so everybody parties together and stuff like that. But the NFL, you really get the feeling that a lot of times these quarterbacks don't even talk to their people. Yeah, it's all business and stuff like that. I don't think Tom Brady's hanging out with anybody. I don't think anybody's going over to Tom Brady's house for a barbecue. You know what I mean? But I can definitely see San Francisco doing that right now. And that's what gets you into the playoffs, and that's what gets you a deep run in the playoffs. I hashtag wrote that down, that San Francisco, because of Garoppolo, would be lucky to make it past the second round. But now that they have CMC, now what I'm seeing right now, man, they honestly could make it to the game.
Whole different deal. Now, I think this, like the touchdown pass right off the bat and the heavy involvement, I think this was Shanahan rubbing it in McVay's face that he didn't get McCaffrey. I know San Francisco wanted Stafford bad and didn't get him, and the Rams were in on McCaffrey. And now, San Francisco essentially has the last laugh, because these are two teams moving in very different directions. The 49ers, until week 8, until this game, they had lost 2 starters in every game this year to injury. And this game, they lost no starters. They're going into the bye. They're expecting 11 or 12 players back coming out of the bye. Meanwhile, the Rams are sitting here at 3-4, third in the division. The quarterback looks washed. The O-line is a disaster. No run game, no effective play action. You got no money to spend. Aaron Donald retirement rumors are only going to get louder now. You have 2 draft picks in the top 150, and Cooper Kupp just twisted his ankle on the last play of the game. So not great.
Who else saw the frustration? Who else saw the frustration from the Rams? I mean, they were just frustrated, especially in the second half. Everything they did, I saw it. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but the Rams they expected a lot more from themselves, and they're not getting it. And it's kind of that quicksand story, necessary roughness. They just keep trying, and they just keep sinking further and further.
Yep. They hear the clock ticking. To bring it back to Halloween, it's sort of like Stranger Things, They see the clock, and now they're freaking out because they know it's time. They know the run is over. They got their Super Bowl, and now it's time for the 49ers to essentially lift them up and choke them out. What is with these 49ers helmets? Did you guys see the protruding? Kittle had one on. A couple other guys had one on. What's the deal with that? Is that something, Coach? Do you have those in the lower levels? Is that something we're doing for concussions?
Not yet.
It looked like I don't know, like a sports.
But I will tell you that we have kids that their parents will run out and buy them one. The old Rydell in the closet isn't good enough for their baby, so we'll get 2 or 3. Looks great on the sidelines.
The way he says it.
Looks great on the sideline. It's always the backup that has all the best gear.
Yeah.
Was it like an event or something? Like I don't know what it was.
Speedflex helmets are all the rage right now. People are all into them, but
I learned. Look, I know coaches because I mean that's why I call him coach and stuff. And I watch the show and I see it. But I learned in one sentence exactly what kind of coach is right now, like where the priority is right now. And I love it. I love it. Like I want my kid to play for coach, man.
Yep, that's where you want to send them.
If you want to win now, coach, send him over there.
He's going to check if you got your knee pads in. That's for sure.
He's damn right. Cover him up.
He's going to check
in college. There's nobody here on a scholarship. Nobody.
He's going to check for your cup with the top of his foot or the back of his hand. That's how it's coming. You're going to find out if you got it in, kid.
Line him up. How many times a day does he tell them nobody's here on a scholarship? Ain't no free rides around here, boys.
I don't know what you mean, coach, but I got it.
Of a hose with holes in it.
Back my day, we had a trough. Y'all would be happy.
Everybody thinks they're dadgum, they think
this is what Coach used to look like. This is what Coach used to look like 3 years ago.
Close.
And then he started.
I've known Coach since the 5th grade. He's never looked like that.
He's had that vibe though. I mean,
he's had that same haircut since I've ever.
That is
Gold Dust Woman.
I have had the same haircut since I was about.
We talked about a news story with hippies and Charles Manson, and he made no differentiation between the hippies and Charles Manson. They were all one and the same to him.
I think I went straight out of the 12-year-old rat tail to this, and I've had it ever since.
Oh man!
Can we do a side by side of like who wore it better, me or Angela? I mean, Angela clearly wins, but I mean, like we can get away with that right now. I think
she's rocking it.
Yeah, she is. I mean, she's got the waves. I don't have the waves.
Yeah.
Man.
Come on in.
I don't know how y'all do this, by the way. I've said this multiple times. I wore this to work. I wore it like I don't know how y'all do this with the long hair. I mean, I'm doing like the whole hair flips and the everything. Like it's bad. I don't know how
you
y'all
should
do it.
See me. Somebody rolls the window down in the car, and I'm like,
"Oh,
you want to die?" Like,
Brooklyn, what's up, sis? Brooklyn, what's going on, girl? Did you get all that candy?
What? You got any Kit Kats in there?
Let's see the loot.
Best reason to have kids on Halloween.
10 full candy bars.
Yep.
10 full candy bars, 2023.
Yep.
With this inflation, oh my gosh!
I automatically get the Kit Kats.
Mustang.
Good job.
Natalie walks up and just gives them to me when she gets Kit Kats. It's a beautiful system.
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's love.
Am I allowed to ask a question? Can I ask a question? It's football related. I swear to God.
Oh, then you're good.
Okay, so like with the injuries and stuff like that. So we came into the season. We expected the Jets to be a dumpster fire. We expect Chicago to be a dumpster fire. And I mean, they are, but they're, whatever. We do not expect JT to have such a bad season. And I'm not asking the cliche question, who's the biggest disappointment, but like, I mean, honestly, at week 8, not quite halfway through the season, what is everybody's take on the big surprise? Because we all have leagues, we all have fantasy football players and stuff like that. Good or bad, like what's the big surprise right now at week 8 to see, other than the CMC trade?
Love and Bakker.
Honestly, my biggest surprise is the Colts. My biggest surprise is how terrible the Colts are.
Coach,
I got to bet on them to win the Super Bowl
all summer long.
I was on the bandwagon for the Colts all summer.
I defended the hell out of them.
Matty Ice move was brilliant. I thought they finally had all the pieces to make a deep run, and they're terrible. They're hot garbage right now.
Even with the Ellinger coming in, I called Campbell for 15 because I thought, the backup quarterback always gels with the 3 and 4 receivers. And I thought, we were going to have a good game and stuff like that. And to be fair, like he nailed that last pass to Paris Campbell, and Campbell freaking just muffed. Like, I don't know what the hell happened there. That was, is Vegas involved there? I don't know. But it's like, the kid tried, but I expected more. And you're right. That Ryan move I thought was money, and you got JT, and I knew JT wasn't going to finish as number 1 back, but I still said top 5. I mean, what's going on over there?
I thought they were really, I like Reich, and I think that he's a good X's and O's dude. I've always liked that guy. I think that he's a good hard-nosed guy, but Schaus in the house threw it to the Cowboys too. I didn't see the Cooper Rush deal.
How'd they get through? How'd they
I didn't see the Cooper Rush deal coming
ever.
I'm with you, Heather. Yeah, that's crazy.
Those are the two biggest. Those got to be
Cooper Rush or Matt Ryan. Which one would you rather have?
Oh, I'd rather have Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush.
Yeah, right now.
Forward.
I mean, right now.
Matt Ryan would be a good quarterbacks coach probably, but
who's
if we're playing football,
is it the blue turf Kellen Moore over there at Cowboys? Yeah,
OC.
He probably works really well with Cooper Rush. I mean, that's the problem. They probably have an excellent relationship.
Well,
they gotta.
I mean, nobody knew who Cooper Rush was before the start of the season. I mean, and when
except
Dak
Minnesota
went down,
fans, yeah.
When Dak went down, did you guys not all think the same thing I did? Is there goes the Cowboys.
Yeah, they said about 6 games. I said, well, they'll be lucky to go 2-4, and their season is effectively over.
Is Cooper Rush is still undefeated? Am I incorrect in that?
No,
that's a fact
for his career.
Well, he lost that.
He lost one.
Giants.
Did he lose that last one? Okay, all right. I wasn't sure. You're right.
Yeah,
that's why I asked.
He lost the last one, but he's like, I don't know what, 5-1 or something.
Yeah,
4-1 as a starter.
It's still ridiculous. I mean, and it's not comparable to real, to actual NFL starters. But I mean, just to be able to say that, I mean, he should have retired a game before. He should have just retired undefeated and called it a day.
Well, and it's hard for me to even say this, but they're pretty solid defensively too. They're not a bad defensive team. I mean, Parsons is a real deal.
So you open the door. So Dak went down. Everybody thought, okay, the Cowboys aren't winning this division. This is Philly's division to win. And got it. Philly is undefeated and all that stuff. We've still got a lot of season to go. It's Philly's undefeated season to lose. Do the Cowboys still – okay, question A, can the Cowboys come back and win the division? Question B, do they at least make the playoffs as a wild card? Because of the division,
Oh yeah, they can't.
Little group
wild card.
I think they're wild card city, but they're not winning the division.
They're not catching Philly. No. Philly might win every fucking game.
They don't have the horsepower to play with Philly.
No.
After what we just saw,
to sneak up on them because I don't see anybody on the schedule that on paper could beat the Eagles.
Well, let's be honest. Philly right now is the best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
Philly might be the best team in the NFL.
They may be.
And then is it Seattle?
I mean,
Bills are definitely.
Tell me the team. Tell me the team that is better than Philly. I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm just saying
the 49ers are different now.
Okay.
Just give them a few weeks. Now
they talk about the 49ers, and they are.
You put Philly in Santa Clara, and that's a game.
Well,
I would say that would be Philly minus 2.5. Maybe.
Is that the one? Is that the game that's going to happen? Is that the NFC Championship?
Yeah,
I
think that's your NFC Championship game. San Francisco.
Eric's calling it.
Philly.
It'll be a good one too.
Anybody else willing
Philly,
to put that online?
KC
Hashtag write that down. Roop, if you're watching, hashtag write that down.
Gonna make a whiteboard.
On the board.
I want to go back to biggest surprises though.
Go ahead. Sir.
Yes, please.
And that's elite quarterbacks nosediving and Geno Smith being good.
Yes,
because we got Tampa Tom. Yes.
What a fantastic take. Yes.
I've said it every week. He's the loneliest man on the planet. And that's even before the news broke. He just looks like a dude out there who just switched schools. He's trying to play school ball at recess and nobody likes him. He just looks sad out there. And then Aaron Rodgers is not playing well at all. Dobbs is looking pretty good as a new wide receiver. So those two, it's been weird to watch. And then also Geno Smith.
Oh, Seattle looks like geniuses.
Right.
I guess quarterback play across the league, other than the stalwarts, the top of their game, the top fives or the top fives. But yeah, everywhere else, I mean, I didn't think Baker would be just god awful, and he is. And same with you're seeing the end of an era with quarterbacks like Matt Ryan. Whether they started 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, you're seeing a lot of quarterbacks just shit the bed this year.
The game is changing, and I think this is the year of the quarterback who stayed too long. And now we got guys like now we got
Josh
games
Allen.
Now we got Ellinger versus fucking Heineke going on. Football skins at Colts.
I want to say kind of a take on what John said there. I mean, does anybody look more brilliant than Pete Carroll and the Seahawks right now?
Coach of the Year candidate.
You thought at the beginning of the season when they let Russell go that they were just strictly mailing it in, and they look like juggernauts with the the Walker kid that is all world and Geno Smith, who they dug out of the archive, the old Jet, for God's sakes.
Yeah, 10 years in, all of a sudden,
even Geno said it was the wrong team at the wrong time, and now he's got the right team.
Said every Jets player.
Look, when you got
every Jets guy ever,
but it didn't make any sense. I said before the season, there's no way Pete Carroll's going into the season. His last year, he's about to retire. He's not going to go in with a garbage quarterback and a bad team and go out sub 500. And yet he's not going after a quarterback. So what the?
Well, the thing was, okay, so you got two things there. Number one, you said it's Pete Carroll's last season, so he doesn't give a who the next quarterback is because I'm done. All right. And number two, we all thought it was because that's what the media wanted you to believe is that it was going to be Drew Lock. And that's where if you remember in the preseason, everybody was like, Drew Lock, I can't believe Drew Lock's going to lead the Seahawks. Drew Lock is not the answer. How do they give him Drew Lock? And I'm not saying Pete Carroll knew that he was going to start Geno Smith, but at some point during training camp, he was like, okay, you know what? Everybody's right. Drew Lock is not the answer. I got Geno Smith here.
Hitting 50-yarders to DK in practice.
Hell no. But when you got DK and Lockett, look, I mean, you don't have to be that great as long as you can get the ball in the vicinity. They're going to make you look good. I'm not saying Russell Wilson did everything for himself. Russell Wilson made Russell Wilson, and he did have a team around him. And it's weird to see what's happening in Denver. It's an age thing. It's the end of the career thing. It's the downhill slope and all that. But when you've got Lockett and DK Metcalf catching your balls, there's probably about 20, 25 quarterbacks that could look at least as good as Geno Smith in the NFL right now with those two guys catching the ball.
Are we not
the bad thing about it is Denver's locked in. They are locked into
They're stuck.
That is a marriage that they cannot get rid of. They're in.
And they got somebody with a homeschooled personality doing weird shit on the flight all the way to London.
That guy's getting a little.
He's cringy.
Yeah,
he's cringy to watch.
I think it's
hard to watch.
I think it's an interesting juxtaposition. Russ getting off the plane and talking about himself in the post game, and then
I'm doing high knees in the aisles.
Tyler Lockett at the podium yesterday said, "It's amazing what you can accomplish when nobody cares who gets the credit."
Right.
That's the difference though, because when you talk about let's compare San Francisco and Seattle, right? They're both doing great things. They're both exceeding expectations, but we are already talking about San Francisco being in the NFC Championship. We're not talking about Seattle being in the NFC Championship. We're talking about them exceeding expectations. Again, maybe a wild card. Maybe they get, the first round of the playoffs or something like that. But nobody expects them, even with the performance, because it goes to John's point. You've got the elite quarterbacks tanking. You've got the other quarterbacks coming out of nowhere that nobody expected, but there's only so many slots. And when you talk about the total team, I don't think San Francisco is that, right? They're putting up stats, but they're not a team.
I think we'll have
San
to wait
Francisco,
and see.
yes. Seattle, no.
Yes, that exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Seattle's got some, they got who's that kid? Tariq Woolen. He's got a few picks already. He's a pretty good corner. They got some dudes. They're gonna have a fun season. Like Pete's not gonna go out on the bottom or anything, but they're not.
Walker's a dynasty pick, right?
Yeah. I would give a lot for Kenneth Walker in a dynasty situation right now. I really like that kid. I think he's going to be good for a while. Coach, you're muted. Are you trying to contribute thoughts?
Sorry. I was saying that Walker looks like Carson did before he got hurt. Walker is really good, man. I thought they had a real gem in Carson before he got hurt too.
Is Walker the next JT?
I don't. That's
he's got fresh legs. You gotta remember he's got 6 fewer weeks on those legs than the guys trying to tackle him.
Who's the top performer?
Good.
So we all have
not as good.
We all have fantasy teams and stuff. Who's the top guy on your team that probably shouldn't be right now?
I'm going to tell you right now. It's got to be a guy named Derrick Henry's still pretty damn good.
Yeah. Holy shit!
Yeah,
they can't.
But everybody's good against the Texans.
And maybe they are, but that guy does. He scores points every week.
So here's the deal: if you draft Derrick Henry,
10-man box.
Yes, if you draft Derrick Henry and you can survive the first 8 weeks, from now on he's a 40-point guy.
That's why you let someone else get hurt. You let someone else draft.
Yeah, and if you can get him in like week 4 or 5.
Yep. You wait till he has a couple bad games.
I'm saying right now, there's no Dalvin Cook running against the 8 and 9 man box. This guy's running against the 8-man box every week.
I texted Eric yesterday because he was walking back out of the end zone with the linemen, and you couldn't tell them apart except for he has a 2 and they have a 7.
I'll tell you right now,
big.
The Texans could have put 11 guys on the line of scrimmage and they weren't tackling him yet.
Dude, everybody on the field knew what was going to happen when they lined up. Malik Willis took the handoff, or he took the shotgun snap, and he just turned his body sideways and extended his arm like he was feeding a large bear or something, like hiding the fact that we're handing it off or anything. Just here, please take it and go do your thing. Malik Willis had like 57 passing yards. We had what was that? Derrick Henry 161 and 2 touchdowns plus 1,600 in the props article, and I guaranteed it on Wake and Rake. I've never guaranteed a bet before, so now I can say that I have 100% hit rate on my guarantees.
On the guarantees, the Babe Ruths are in there.
That's how bad the Texans are. Like Josh Jacobs did it to him last week. They cannot tackle a running back.
Well, Josh Jacobs and Henry, they exposed the Texans. Pollard, he, everybody knew what Pollard was going to do, and he definitely paid off. Angela, I know you said before when I was lucky enough to be on the show, you said this is your first year back. What is like the big surprise on your roster right now?
The big surprise with my roster is that I really suck at managing it. We're going to say that first and foremost, even though I get lots of tips from these guys.
It's good to know yourself.
Right, exactly. So I've had a lot of injuries actually, which really sucks. Like I had Dobbins going and he was like super injured. I had Evans and he was out, like, which I don't know. So for me, I'm still learning how to juggle all of this. I've been happy with my defense has been okay with the Ravens, but it's not spectacular. Like Swift, I have Swift back now, so I'm excited about that. Like that was the one thing where I'm like, I have all these great guys, but I didn't anticipate that they were going to be hurt as often as what they were. And I can plug them in and out, but it's sucking a little bit. So.
John, same question. Like, who's the surprise on your roster? Who you riding?
TJ Hawkinson's the biggest surprise. I've got a pretty stacked team, to be honest. I inherited it, so that's not so much of a brag. But TJ Hawkinson's given me 12, 13 points a game, which is pretty awesome for a tight end. I think he's the 4th ranked tight end in your standard and PPR leagues. So I wasn't expecting that. So that's been good.
PSR, Chris and Eric, you guys were riding the Hawkinson train there for a while on the trenches, weren't you?
No. We drafted Pitts, and then we ended up with.
I remember that.
AB for a while.
Every time you guys talk about this, Eric's tone completely changes, as if it's like he took some big financial hit.
It's one of my great fantasy football miscues. Angela, what about your favorite roster, the Minnesota Vikings?
I was just gonna say
26 over the Cards. Cole's Cash Kirk runs one in.
Right.
I didn't see that they hung jewelry all over him after this one. Did they? They like hang all their diamond necklaces on Kirk.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then he spins the pennant around. It's pretty great.
He loves it.
I knew our Cardinals bet was fucking smoked. Tom Pelissero was doing the on location, and he had the Jared Allen headband that was also a mullet.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Honor, so everybody was given a mullet, and he said, "Oh, we're dead." There's zero chance the Cardinals win this game.
Yeah, there's too much mojo going on for sure. Did you guys see though in that game the one-handed touchdown catch by Hopkins? Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was so awesome. I was just like,
who expected Hopkins to come back like this? I mean, we expected him to come back, but I mean, look, he's at the tail end of his career, so we thought. And he comes off his suspension, and the guy's playing like he did 10 years ago.
You want to talk about fresh legs? That guy's he looks fresh as a daisy. I mean, like
there's still a little
literally
PEDs bouncing around in there.
And Kyler needed him. Kyler was a suckathon for about the first 4 weeks.
Hollywood Brown was not a replacement. For Hopkins.
But
people loved him,
dude. I mean, that goal line set, he literally just reached up and grabbed that out of the sky. That was amazing.
He's making catches like Pickens.
Yep.
Like manna from heaven.
Are you drinking the Kool-Aid yet?
The Hopkins Kool-Aid?
No, she thinks Kirk Cousins is going to be the MVP, and every week we have to tell her.
The Kirk Cousins Kool-Aid? Look, Kirk Cousins is
Kool-Aid.
Kirk Cousins is going to get you around 20 plus or minus every week. He's consistent. It's nice to have. I have him in a league because I know what I'm going to get, but you're not going to get that 30-point Patrick Mahomes freaking game out of Kirk Cousins. It doesn't matter that he has Jefferson and Thielen.
I'm talking about the record, and I'm talking about them advancing.
I love Kirk Cousins. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If Green Bay get you a second round punch back home.
I'm just telling you guys. This is
the problem is we're running out of wild card spots because we've talked about Dallas getting a wild card spot. We've talked about other teams getting a wild card spot. We're Seattle getting a wild card spot. We're running out of wild card spots. So
you get the Giants
17, aren't they?
Giants aren't bad.
The Giants are not bad.
I think the Giants and the Vikings are right here.
I don't think the Giants make it.
This is 2022. Doesn't everybody get a playoff spot now?
It's like a bowl game.
Isn't that
right?
what we do now?
Yeah,
everybody
like
just kind of gets in.
Pretty much, except Green Bay.
Really nice.
Except Green Bay.
Green Bay's not getting in.
Eric
Should we
and
talk
Chris.
about the Bills-Packers game? All I have written down for the
No.
Bills-Packers is give the ball to Aaron Jones.
Did we talk about ejections in that game?
What a dipshit, huh?
Eric and Chris, you guys are big Green Bay Packers fans. You guys, are here for the full ride. I get it. I'm full believer in the two-time, multiple-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, relax and all that. But are they really going to come back and pull this off?
Fuck no. No, they're bad now. This is what it is now.
Have you ever felt this?
Now.
Not since elementary school, but yeah, we're bad now.
Zero hope.
Ouch.
None.
There you go, folks. There it is.
But we do have Jordan. Let's get Jordan Love.
You got Jordan Love, though.
Oh, my God. You have to mute that.
Hey, Coach, what do you think about that draft pick?
Let's at least get a Malik Willis. Somebody fun and exciting.
You know what I think.
Yeah, he'll get you
guys
10
grab
passes and an interception.
Do you guys grab a quarterback this year? Does Green Bay go after a quarterback this year? They swallow their pride and go after a quarterback.
They better go after a freaking wide receiver.
What fucking pride are you talking about?
I hope what they do is, I don't know, get a proven young guy. Somebody
if they
who's
go
got
after a
potential.
quarterback, I can't wait. We'll have to go
Rodgers quits,
immediately to live stream because
he really picked the right
he
time
might
to start
cry.
this company.
I think he might cry and then quit. and then re-sign with the Bears just to be because he's that petty.
He's vindictive like
he would
that.
do
He
that.
would.
Totally.
He wouldn't go to Minnesota because
But he
Favre
wouldn't go
already
to
did that.
That's already
exactly.
been done,
Favre
yeah.
already
He
did
would
that.
go
He
to
might go to Detroit.
No, but he'd go to the other two.
Detroit.
He'd go to Detroit.
I already own the Bears, so I guess I'm cashing it in. I'm calling in my chip, and yeah. I'm gonna make Mooney look like fucking Devontae Adams.
He's the ex-girlfriend that doesn't break up with you. She just burns down your house.
That's right.
All your
She befriends all your friends. She
Like
turns them
dating
all
your-
against you,
Busted.
and she gets you fired from your job. And
Next thing you know, you've got a restraining order for no reason. What?
John, what if I told you that Aaron Rodgers can't make receivers good anymore? Like that's not what he does.
I don't
He
think
needs a
that-
good receiver
I don't-
make him look like a good
I think he's too
quarterback.
proud now to spend
No, I'm
time
just telling you, that's the
developing the
truth.
relationships.
is he
Right.
too
He's-
proud, or does he just not care?
I think it's a
I
lot of
think
apathy.
I think he cares. I think he cares about winning. I think he's basically like, if you do everything I tell you, I'm going to get you the ball, but I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
I think he
What
wants
happened-
them to be computers to him.
What happened to? So Doubs 3 weeks ago had like 100% catch rate. Everybody's saying like he's the up and comer, and then Rodgers just stops throwing him the ball. Is it a coverage thing? Is it a Rodgers thing? Is it a game plan thing?
He's throwing him
And
the ball. He had an
Not
incredible
like he-
Beautiful
touchdown.
catch. Beautiful catch.
this
last-
week he did. No, last night he finally did, but the last
Yeah.
2 weeks,
Oh yeah.
nothing.
It's got to click at some point, and if anybody's gonna do it, it's him and Brady are the ones who can do it. I'm just saying.
Not
like,
anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
you just opened that Brady door.
maybe
huh?
not
I think
anymore.
Brady could a
I'm
lot.
saying if anybody, is it not them? Yeah.
Well,
If-
I heard Tom Brady on his podcast talking about how, this will test our resilience and we're going to see which guys have the ability and the guts and the character to dig themselves out of this hole, and that'll present new challenges, and we'll see where we're at then. And then I hear the other guy on McAfee talking about, well, this was my highest graded game by Tom. So, I mean, I'm doing my shit, and these guys probably, I don't know, we need to cut minutes. So I think Brady could turn it around a lot sooner.
Hey,
than
Heather,
Rodgers could.
read what Heather said.
Heather says they need
Spouse
to
in
all
the
go
house.
drink some ayahuasca.
That's right,
That's
man.
probably-
You just need to let the universe come to you, man.
Yeah.
The ball will fall in your hands if you just put them out there, bro. It's
Exactly.
fine, man. You just got to do it. I mean, Tampa Bay, at least Brady's got people like Evans and Fournette, fantastic rookie and White. I mean, he's got pieces around him. He doesn't have Gronk anymore, but, Rodgers doesn't have that. So at least you can say Rodgers maybe has an excuse, but Brady, I'm not saying Brady doesn't have an excuse. He's got his family life and stuff like that falling apart around him. But from a football level, Brady has skill players that Rodgers doesn't have. What's going on with Tampa?
They're old.
That's John.
Is that what
that's
it is?
John's department. No, it's John's department.
Coach, you got an idea on that?
No, I was just saying the best remedy for either daggum one of them is a running game. I mean,
Yeah.
if
We
you're
saw
running
that
the
last
damn ball, you got all kinds of options, and that's where I think that people get too cute. I think they get stupid with the we've got to force. First off, the Packers don't have a wide receiver on the roster. They haven't since the beginning of the season. They came into the season convincing everybody they did. They don't have a wide receiver on the roster, and yet they try to. I mean, he can be as great as he wants. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, if you run the daggum ball and you're looking at third and manageable, you have manageable situations. That's
I know
managing
it's boring,
the
but
game.
it works.
And they're not doing that. They are literally going, we're going to rely on him to throw hitches and curls and 10-yard outs every play. And that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work for either one of them. Run the ball. Run the ball and play defense. It wins. It wins on every level.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah.
And guess what? The weather only gets worse as the year goes along.
Right.
I mean, they play in the north. Everybody's outside. It's a legit deal. Run the ball.
Yep. And there's frost on the pumpkin. That's the time for running the ball.
Chris and Eric, you guys had said, I don't know if it was in the True Serum article, if you guys said in your own article, but you guys had said, like, where the hell did Dylan go? You guys talk about running the ball and stuff. Is that like a big key for Green Bay that Dylan like disappeared?
I the mascot. He murdered that.
I thought
mascot.
his leg broke in half last night.
Well, yeah, that was bad.
He came back out. He's good. Hey, you guys about ready to wrap it up?
Yep. We just got the Corn Pop Award to give out, and then we're done.
Yep. What do you got?
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran with some bad boys. Every Sunday, Patriot Sports, we give the Corn Pop Award to the player who displayed exceptional badassery on the gridiron through toughness or outright domination. This week's nominees are Derrick Henry or CMC, right?
Absolutely. He threw one, rushed in one, and caught one, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did it all. The trifecta.
That's a hat trick.
We have to give it to CMC.
Yep. I think this is the first bloody broken arm drove across the country because he couldn't fly with the injury type Corn Pop we've given out for just performance on the field.
One of 4 guys to do it. First time since I think it was 95 that anybody had done it. I
anytime you're on a short list with LaDainian and Tomlinson, you're doing something right.
Yeah. Guy was awesome. Yesterday. Yep. It was fun to watch. It
was a great day of football. All right. Time to start planning the next week of football shows. That never stops. Now it's just time to start writing the next.
Let's go. Week 9. Halfway. Right. Here we go.
Muke is mited. Sorry about that. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for all your support, spreading the word, consuming our stuff. We appreciate it very much. Chris, thank you for joining us tonight. Let the people know where they can find you.
Armchair Athletics, the Armchair Athletics. But the big reason you want to go there is because of the Trenches reality competition, where you will see these guys right here, Chris and Eric, vying for $5,000. 12 teams, one prize, $5,000. On Armchair Athletic, the Armchair Athletics on YouTube. Come see these guys run for the championship. You guys tied for first. Let's go.
And then go over to PatriotSportsNow.com to find all of our podcasts, blogs, video, everything else Patriot Sports related. Okay, time to watch the second half. Until next time, be good to each other. Chris, kick the outro music.
You've been listening to Patriot Sports Radio. If you're sick of all the national talking heads and biases of mainstream sports media, like we are, this show is for you. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. For more content and merch, hit up www.patriotsportsnow.com. Find us on Twitter at PatriotsPod, on Instagram and Facebook at Patriot Sports Now, and on Getter, Rumble, and YouTube at Patriot Sports. Take care, and we'll see you next time.